Hi everybody, it's Lisa Murray here. Hi my sweet lifers. Today on another Martini Talks, I have a wonderful author here, a dear friend. Her name is Lyn, and she has written so many cool stories about her two puppies, Izzy and Zoey. Look, this is just so delightful. Tell me all about it. Tell me what's going on with these.
Well, these books are written for young readers, of course, ages 1 through 10 years old.
Right.
And basically, they're stories of two puppies exploring their new world and learning new lessons and having new things happen. And they write about the things that are happening. And of course, we always use our descriptive words to describe our feelings and the adventures that we have. So this is literally Izzy and Zoey's and their adventures. They came to us at 8 weeks old. They were litter mates, so they're sisters. And Izzy is the more calm one, and she's the more studious one. And Zoey is the one that will just take off on an adventure. She has the wild hair, and she's also the little runt. And so since they're litter mates, this first book talks about family. It talks about how families take care of each other. And it talks about the importance of being careful when you're out and about and staying with your pack and greeting each other carefully as you greet strangers.
Right.
And so it talks about being little and all those things that you need to learn when you're out and about and amongst a crowd.
Yeah.
The Seasons book talks about, of course, the colorful seasons and all the different ways our leaves and our world changes for us about 4 times a year. Of course, Izzy and Zoey's favorite season is summer because it's pool time.
Uh-huh.
And they have a special alligator that they like to float on at pool time. But there's also a couple of songs in this book that talk about the seasons, and they're original songs that I wrote. And in fact, both of these 2 books have music in them. But the books are interactive, so the book is going to ask questions, and the readers are going to get to respond to those questions. They're going to get to think a little bit as they read.
Which is important when you're reading, not just read it. Actually make you kind of ponder a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next one is The Great Pond Adventure. So the Pond Adventure is written literally about a farm and a pond and all the interesting individual insects and animals that they met at the farm. And then they realized the special qualities that these insects had, such as a duck can float, a duck can swim, a duck can walk out of the water, a duck has webbed feet, and they also quack.
And I love the cats.
Yes, Precious
Everyone knows
the cat.
that I'm a cat person, so
Yes.
I love the cat.
So Precious is kind of like the concierge of the pond, and she's introducing the Westies to all these different types of animals that are at the pond. So this book talks about our superheroes and that everybody has special qualities in themselves.
Right.
And they're actually superheroes in their own right.
So now tell me something, Lyn. These 3 books were written in 2020.
They were.
Yeah, which makes you like one of the most prolific authors I've ever met.
Well, it was a lot of
there
fun.
You go. There you go. I mean, like there's a lot of people that I talk to that are authors and artists, and there's projects that take years, and you've gotten 3 books done in 2020. So talk about making really wonderful, good use of your time during this pandemic. And the thing I was going to ask you too, or share with the viewers, what you did. You pivoted, which is what I started with. When I started the channel, I started talking to people who were making the pivot of changing their direction. Some of them had to because they lost their jobs. Some of them had to because they just felt that they needed to make a change. So many of them are no longer where they were on multiple levels, in terms of psychologically and spiritually and all those things. But you were in the finance world for a long time.
Yes, I was a financial advisor. And after Harvey happened and we got our house rebuilt and we came into the new normal of our lives, I just decided that was not where I needed to be. I needed to be in a space that I could express myself and be more authentic and more genuine in who my true self was. And it was always writing, and it was always comedy, and it was always funny cartoon adventures. And I just decided I needed to do this because I definitely do not want to live with regrets.
Right.
Or go out of this world with regrets. So I said it's time to get these things done. And so I started writing and got in the flow, and it just came and came and came. And I met this wonderful family, my illustrator and his wife, and he retired, so I quickly put him to work, and he was very accepting of the challenge. And through his illustrations and my stories, I think we have a wonderful story to tell.
You do. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. Now, this year, 2021, these are the latest books. So the next one we've got in your series is this one.
Izzy and Zoey's Adventurous Fun with Adjectives is one of my favorites because I wrote the poem in the book first, so it's a book in a book. So there's a poem inside the book that's in a book that you read, and then I built the story around the poem. And it's about Izzy Zoey going to school, and they're learning to read, and they're learning all about adjectives and how to use these descriptive words to explain your emotions and how you're feeling. And it creates empathizing ears, and you can tell your story, and you can laugh, giggle, and cry while you're telling your story.
It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. And again, the illustrations are just lovely too, all the way through.
Yes, Terry Whistler does a wonderful job of listening, and he has that empathizing ear, and he reads through the story, and he feels these pictures in his mind, and then he puts them on paper. So
yeah, it's just lovely. I just love this. Now, the last in the series for now, I'm quite sure, with as prolific as you are, there's probably 7 more books dancing around in your noggin.
Absolutely.
Is Friends at the Fence, and you've introduced another character into here.
Yes, it's the German Shepherd, and this is a true event that happened. We have a fence between us and a neighbor. There's a puppy on the other side of the fence, and he's a German Shepherd, and they literally have got to know each other through the fence, through nose sniffs and eye looks. And it's funny how they'll line up to look through the fence at each other, and they play by running back and forth up against the fence. Well, one evening they decided that they were all going to meet, so there were holes being dug on both sides of the fence, and the little Westie sisters squished and jiggled their little tummies right under that fence to get into the neighbor's yard. And of course, the Westie's humans, because this is a thought story based upon, it's not necessarily about conversation, it's about Westie thinking. And anyway, their human came out with cries of, "Where are you?" And so anyway, they were across the fence, so they came wiggling and jiggling back underneath the fence to come back home. And so play dates were set so the Westies could play with their neighbor at the fence.
So cool.
Which makes a really fun day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that it's a true story too, which is that much better.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny how whenever you have things in life happen and you're able to then turn them into characters and create a beautiful story that shares lessons about friendship and love and everything that you've got here is that. And I just love that. And very much in line with, as you all know, my viewers, living the sweet life. Because that's what we all do here, is we try to help each other and show each other the lessons. And the adjectives are just fantastic. Everything is fantastic. You've done just a beautiful job. I just want you to know I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate this time to talk about the books because, as you can probably tell, they are a true love of mine and a great passion.
They're beautiful. Listen, guys, I want to thank you, Lyn, for being here.
Absolutely.
If you have found any value, please do us a favor, like and share. All the information on how to get each one of these books will be in the episode notes below. And we'll see you soon on another Martini Talks. Take care.